Okay folks, so I've actually decided to strip off all the wood veneer here. The reason is I do have some wood damage here at the bottom. You can see this is chipping away, so I'm actually just gonna scratch at it. You'll have to excuse all the PS2 games, they're just in the way, but I'm gonna actually just repair that area. God, this is actually really chipping away. But it's easier to do that. I'm gonna just remove as much as I can. I'm gonna use then some wood hardener and to prevent rot and maybe harden all this area a bit, and then just use a small piece of wood here to replace that corner. I probably have to cut it like that somewhere here. And then I'm gonna repair this here. I'll just use some bondo for here. There's actually a hole here where the plates were for to level it, the levelers, maybe that's what they're called. So I'm gonna just have to fix that. I'll probably just put a piece of wood at the bottom, somewhere here, just to strengthen it, like in that corner area here, and screw it from the inside and the outside, and I'll glue it as well, and then I'll fill all this with bondo. I'm gonna have wheel casters anyway on here afterwards, but just to make sure, actually I might just put a piece of wood extending this way and this way just to reinforce it and see how much, because the power supplies are somewhere there. But anyway, so I'll remove that. That's quite actually tedious because it's really well glued on in some areas. It started stripping halfway here, and then it was unglue and unstuck everywhere, pretty much in the corners, and I just literally just peel it off by hand until this sort of patch here where to use the bit of heat on the scraper. But that part took a while actually, because it was well glued on in this area, but it was just wood level. There's no way I could have matched it, so I think I've no choice. I have to remove all the wood veneer. I also burnt myself, but that's just part of the course. I've taken the monitor out. It's actually here for now. I've the coinder out, the buckets, that's where I put the screws. So most of the movable parts in. I still have the power supplies and the board. Actually, I might need to take the board off. So what I'm gonna do here, because it's actually quite late now, and I need to do to film. I have the control panel here as well. I need to go and film another video for a contest, Castlevania contest thing, and I need to do that tonight. So I'm actually gonna leave this here for now. Before I leave, I'm gonna just do some hardener here. Maybe, no, I don't think here's too bad. Yeah, I think I just need some hardener over there, and maybe in the inside corner here. Oh, maybe not. Maybe just over there. Then, how do I do this? Actually, I can do it from here. And then tomorrow, after work, I can attack the other side. I'm trying to do this before Saturday. Today's Thursday. I'm trying to do this before Saturday, because then I'm away on holidays for a week, so I won't get a chance, obviously, to do any of that. So that lamp is actually really handy. I'm gonna leave it here. You can see all the storm around the board is here. I think it's okay for now. Okay, let's use the wood hardener. I'm just going to pour that in a small container and use a brush and generously apply it here. There you go. That's where I've cut it flush with the other section, and here, yeah, that'll do. What I'll actually do is I'm going to cut a piece of wood. I have a sheet over there I can cut it from. Cut a triangle like that. And then just glue that down and have small strips of wood, maybe 4 or 3. Yeah, 3. I'll get away with one big one here, probably a small one, 2 small, yeah, something like that, just to connect the two together. And with some wood glue, it'll actually be tight. It's actually mostly cosmetic. It's not too bad here. Yeah, and we'll have probably the other same stuff on the back here, and here I'll have to find a way to fix all that. But we'll use bondo or whatever it's called here. I call it bondo filler, car filler. It's actually car filler. It's what is it called? ISO something. If I still an ISO palm. There you go. I think this is the fiber one. I want the where is it? No, maybe not. That might be the one. Anyway, so now I'm just gonna treat this side and all over there as well, just for good measure, because there was some swelling here, and I used just a sharp wood knife actually to bring it back down. But I'm just gonna treat it and then sand it down, and then we'll start the repair with the filler. Maybe fix this corner a bit as well. That's not too bad actually. Let's see that. Okay, let's get going. So one thing I need to do here is actually well, rebuild this monitor. This is a Geo 7 Electro Home Geo 7. They're actually pretty common, and there's a ton of information and links and recap kits and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully it won't be too hard to fix it. I've already cleaned it a bit, just actually gave it a wipe and a brush, so here it's not too bad. I have the motherboard here, which will need a clean, so I'm gonna wash that actually just in the sink with some washing liquid and water. It's been powered up for a few years. It's been sold as non-working anyway, so I can see here our fuse is most likely busted, which means probably something else actually killed it. So that's what we need to find out. So I'm going to clean this, and then I will order a full recap kit. So that'll include the flyback, the coil here, the horizontal coil, all the caps, and there's a big cap as well, and a few of these guys, voltage regulators and things like that. And you know what? Jeez, there's another fuse here gone. Yeah, there's a fuse kit as well with it. I'm ordering this from was it a few places. Is there IanKellogg's.com? Actually, this guy's fried here. Look at this. Yeah, we're gonna need to change a lot of stuff before I even try to power it on. Wow. Yeah, all this stuff here is just so dirty as well. See, that's been sitting, there's been some water damage, I'd say. It's been sitting in a shed for a while. How's the back of it? Yeah, I need to inspect it as well for some minor corrosion here. That's not too bad actually, but I need to inspect all that. Jeez, is it even worth repairing? I'm pretty sure it is. Should I lift this all together and see what's underneath? Yeah, I look it up anyway. At any rate, it needs a clean first before I do anything else. Yeah, that's smooth there. It's probably cold solder point as well. Actually, no, that's just a cap. Yeah, this can go. It's probably fried. Anyway, yeah, let's give it a clean first. So here's an update on the wood repair here. So there was quite a lot of wood actually to remove. It wasn't fully rotted, but it was actually just, this bit was the crumbliest. And then when I started looking into here, I was like, you know what, it's a bit too crumbly for my taste. I might as well just fix it. So what I've done is I've cut corners here that I will glue in place, secure with these clamps, and then I'll probably put a nail or two. Put a nail here and here so I can cut my T-molding groove afterwards, and fill the rest with bondo. I have one for here, and then I have all this section to patch, so I'll probably cut a thin strip of wood from a plywood. It'll be a lot easier to cut that from plywood than this. It'll be a lot more solid, and then I can glue that back in place and again fill the rest with bondo. It's going to be a good bit of bondo here, but I don't think I have much of a choice. So I mean, the strip I can run all the way to here and fill the rest. I'll see. Might use fiberglass, actually, might be a lot easier. And since I've taken all this off, what I'll do afterwards is I'll put an extra plate underneath, again made from the same material, and I'll have wheels on it, caster wheels. I always do that, makes things much easier anyway to move the cab and repair it, and make things easier here to actually move it. So yeah, let's glue these in place first. And there you go. So there's a lot going on here, but so I've glued and nailed these corners here, well, sort of as best as I could, but it's just to act as filler. Like structurally, the cab is still fine. It's just it just needs sharper corners essentially. So I've done that, and then I started working a bit on the bondo. I'm gonna say body filler from now on. We don't have bondo, but I just keep hearing bondo every YouTube video I watch. So I just started working on the corners with a filler, and I've cut and glued a strip here, which I'm holding with all these clamps, and I just use little shavings like that, and a mix of shaving and glue to actually fill all these gaps. You can actually see them here. So these are all glued, actually. Oh, that's moving a bit. These are all glued, and I've just in some places I've just used just masking tape to keep them together, and then put a clamp over it just to compress it a bit. So at least we'll fill some of it. It probably needs something else. Again, once that's done, I'm going to sand it down, maybe scrape it down a bit, and just use another piece of wood just to cover this as well, or fill it with bondo. I'll see. I'll probably have to make a sort of a cast. I use leftover bondo because I can't do too much. I don't want to see that's actually meeting the glue here. It's not ideal, but I used the leftover bondo I had just to fill the holes here. The only big one is this one, and it actually goes all the way through. So I'm gonna have to use, I'm actually limited in space, so I'm gonna have to cut a very custom piece here that goes around like that. I think there's a corner here, an angle. Put that on the back, fill that up, and then I'll have a plate over that anyway. But I don't want it to get worse, and then I don't want that corner to be the weakest corner anyway. This isn't too bad. It's actually, I'll probably just tape it like I've done for this one. This one I can't do, but tape it in from the back and fill it with filler. I'll have, like I said, I'll have a plate. Anyway, I'm gonna cut out a square that literally goes all the way here. Actually, that cause a problem. Should I extend that a bit? No, actually, it doesn't matter. But what we'll have is just a little extra bit of wood. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna see if I can keep this. Should I even? Because I'm gonna redo all this side. I was initially gonna keep that because it's not in bad shape. It's not peeling off anywhere. And then just put a kick plate here that'll cover the extra piece of wood and protect the bottom. I might do that, just get a metal kick plate or something like that. See, I can use something like that. Actually, you know what? That would be perfect. That would be, yeah, holy crap, that would be ideal. It's not as wide actually, maybe. No, maybe not. I need something wider. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I need to think of something. But that actually would be a ideal kick plate. Where did I get that? That was a metal shelf from a unit I salvaged. I have another one. Or I could use something like that. But this is kind of nice and straight. There's holes there already, so I don't need to mess around drilling holes. I might use that. And then I have these. Oh no, I have these edges. So what I could do is actually have those edges here, screw them down, and have the kick blade over it, and it'll overlap whatever. I'll paint the back black. That's what I'll do actually. I'll paint the back black, put these down maybe here or something like that, because you know, your feet are usually damaging the bottom a lot. The original doesn't have a kick blade, but I've seen a lot of them that have a kick blade, so that's okay, I guess. It won't look bad either. Yeah, I might do that. Would that work? Let me check. I'm a sucker salvaging any piece of usable metal I find, or wood, in fairness. So that would actually cover some of it. I won't be able to see behind, so that's perfect. That's perfect. That's exactly what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use this. I'll cut probably a piece, maybe that wide. That's all I need really. Or maybe here. Trim the corners here. Give it a coat of gloss black paint. I'll have these as protector, just to extend it a bit. It'll look nicer. There you go. Anyway, so right now there's not much I can do. I just need to wait at least 24 hours, maybe 48, for the glue to work properly, for the bondo to dry up. I'm going to come back and use when it starts gelling a bit more. I'll come back and use a blade and just trim the edge like that, so it actually brings it level to the wood. It's a lot easier to do that when it starts gelling. It's still too yeah, and it's not runny, it's gel, but it's when it hardens a bit after, let's say, probably 30 minutes, something like that, to it's easier to do this than sand it down afterwards. So I'm going to do this all over and leave that for a couple of days, and repeat. Rinse and repeat. There you go. Right, quick update. So I am progressing with this, making probably a mess of it, but it's actually mostly dust. I can clean a lot of this afterwards. But we'll have our kick plate here. So what I've done is I've glued some pieces of wood. You can actually see the wood here, where the trace like that. I filled this entire area. I'm using just fiberglass right now, just fiberglass paste, just to fill these areas, just roughly. I'm gonna sand that down. This was quite chewed up as well. And where is the piece of wood actually? We're going like that this way, but it is all chewed up all down here. So I'm just using that paste as best as I can. I'm just using different spatulas and different stuff to fill that in. The edges here, I'm just using some filler, isopon filler or bondo, and there's the inner edge here, which will need some work as well, but it's minor, so I'm not going to use fiberglass. I'll use bondo for that, and for that as well here. But making some progress, just filling those holes here. And this one I'll probably fill from inside. I'm going to fill this one as well. Fill from inside. I actually used bondo before to fill the bigger gaps, all this area, but it didn't quite take. It was still tacky. And I don't know if it just I used a layer that was too thick, or if I didn't use enough catalyst hardener. But either way, I had to take it off and then just use fiberglass here instead. And the paste is actually quite handy. It's the same cotton you're making it. The P40 is the fiberglass. P38 is the isopon bondo filler thing. So there you go. So I'm just gonna wait for all that to set, dry. It's actually setting already. This dry. Well, it gets hard or tacky hard pretty quickly. So at this stage, I'd probably just to use this guy or razor blade you can use. Just chip away, keep some of the bigger spikes like that, so I don't, because these have a tendency to get in your fingers before you sand, and they destroy the sandpaper pretty quickly when you start sanding. So I'm just gonna trim as best as I can and then sand it tomorrow. You want to do that maybe like half an hour after you've put your first layer. See all these. So yeah, it's all good. I can start. So you can do that. Use a wood knife. You can use I sometimes use a razor blade as well, or a Stanley what do you call it? Stanley planer. Different tools. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, so small update on this guy now. I've sanded all my patching here, so this is pretty much bar a few bits. This is pretty much flush and level all here. There's actually a bit of bulging here, which I just sand out, sand back down. But this is yeah, this is looking very straight now. Same here. The only thing here is this edge here. We'll probably have to come on, focus. There you go. We'll probably have to build it a bit more material just to get that straight line. I'll do that next. Here, same thing. We're sorry, I think there you go. We're looking good, all nice and flush, and same thing here all throughout. Probably no, actually wait. Yeah, and here as well. So it's only really this corner here that just needs a bit more material, and then so I'm going to use actual bondo at this time. Well, sorry, not bondo. Isopon, the P38, which is the filler, which is what you know as bondo, and then just to fix those gaps here, just to even out everything, because here it's more important that we get this right here, all this here, because that's where our decal vinyl wood grain thing is going to go. You know, the more I'm thinking about it, the more should I just get rid of this decal here. Although it's good here, and then I still want to put a kick plate. So I don't, yeah, actually I'll just do that. I'll just put a kick plate here because the decal is actually still okay. It just needs a clean now, obviously, with all the dust. And this side is quite good. I'll do a final, actually there's a bit of sanding still to do here. I'll probably do a final sanding, see if it needs a bit more patching. But yeah, the next round we should be all done. And then what's left cosmetically for this guy, well, for the structure, is just to put a piece of wood here, actually going over the edges here, so that everything is consolidated and the cab doesn't crumble from underneath, from inside. Put the wheels on and then do these edges here. You can see there's been quite a bit of damage here, which is my own doing. I started scratching a bit just to remove some of the weaker wood, and all this crumbled. It stopped here, luckily, so I don't have to redo everything, but I just have to patch it a bit. So we put that on its side when all this is done. When we put the wheels on, we'll put it on the side and do those edges. And the external edges here as well probably need a bit of work. So still a bit of work to do, but we're getting there. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably just keep this video just for cosmetic and structural, or actually structural repair, and then when we're done I'll do another video then for just maybe the decals, overlays and that kind of stuff, and then a third one, well, at least one for the monitor, a third one maybe to put everything together. This could be a 4 to 5 video series. So stay tuned. But anyway, let's keep working on this and finish this part anyway. Alright guys, so this is the progress so far. So I've done quite a bit. I've done these inside edges here, the outside edges here, all nice and sharp. Still have a few areas to finish. I've done this back edge here as well. Still a few patches to fix, and then I have to work on this edge here. So yeah, you can see it's crumbling a bit. So I'll treat that as well. Sand it down, apply some filler and sand again. Most of it is done. I've done these edges here, the bottom corners over there, this entire area here, and then all here as well was in desperate need of quite a lot of work. Actually, this looks rough on the camera, but this is actually quite sharp. I don't know why that looks so rough here. Yeah, it's because there's a couple here. Yeah, okay. I need to finish that. But the edge here is nice and sharp all the way, and I've done the inside edge here as well. So we're getting there structurally. I'm just gonna finish the bondo job and put the kick plate. Oh yeah, and the whole thing is on wheels now. We've got wheels on it. I'm gonna put a piece of wood. So the kick plate will cover all this, and here on this side I just need to use some filler to seal the wood. I'll paint that probably black, or actually no, I'll bring it flush to here, and again have the vinyl cover that as well. But there you go. It's slowly but surely. That took me a week actually of work between the applying bondo and filler, and then sanding and finding new gaps and new places, and then getting everything smooth, or as smooth as possible, and flush. I had to sand this area a good bit as well. So getting there slowly, and then we can start worrying afterwards. Oops, you only dropped the phone here. And then we can start worrying afterwards at the well, the monitor is probably next. The monitor is probably next one to get that working. At least recap, change the flyback, and then hope that that's all that needs to be done. I don't know if it's working, right now. I haven't tried, but I'm just gonna recap and change the flyback anyway, and then we'll see what else. Probably I have to change the hot and voltage regulator thing. We'll see. Then once that's done, I need to rewire, because here it used to be a Pac Man Cabaret. It was converted to a Trojan, but they converted the wiring as well. Not a lot of wiring. It's mostly the edge connector here, but it's non-JAMA, so it was converted from a non-JAMA to another non-JAMA, and then I need to reconvert that to a probably, I'll probably convert it to a JAMA one, make things easier, and then use a converter on Pac Man PCB when I get one. Or I mean, I can use a 6T21 in there. It has a few versions of Pac Man, Miss Pac Man, Super Pac Man, and all these, and a few other games. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, cosmetic. So yeah, change the harness, and then we'll start worrying then about the cosmetic. So getting all the sides done. So new decals on the side, new T-molding, new Pac Man marquee, Pac Man bezel, Pac Man control panel. So we still have a bit of work to do. So yeah, this series is not done. Let's keep working though. So another thing I'm doing right now is I'm just filling this piece of metal that has holes in it. That was the first piece of metal I was going to use for the Donkey Kong Cabaret Cab. But anyway, so I'm just going to use this for the kick plate. So I'm just filling it with I had fiberglass on the other side, and I'm just filling it with a filler here, and I'll sand it down, paint that black, and I'll use that as a kick plate for over there. I'm just doing the finishing touches here. I'll just put just filler on the edges just to make everything smooth, so I don't get that sort of texture on the sides, so I can actually put the vinyl wood veneer just all over here, and then yeah, just finishing the edges here. So I'll send all that down maybe tomorrow, and then we'll be done with the the wood repairs, and then we can move on to cosmetics.